There, welcome back to another episode of Did You Know? And today I want to talk to you about haunted real estate. So tell me, quick question for you. Would you buy a house if it was haunted? Or more to the point, would you buy a house specifically because it was haunted? Well, I'm not sure I necessarily believe in it, but I think that would give me that would be enough to make me make another choice. But just so you know, only 4 states have a requirement for realtors to disclose paranormal activity, if you will. And that is New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts and Minnesota. How about that for a strange carve out? Now, that said, in California, if someone has died in the house, the realtor is required to tell you if they have died in the house within the past 3 years. Now, they don't have to tell you the reason, the cause of death, but they do have to tell you if someone has died in the house within the past 3 years, because that is considered a material fact, right? And a material fact means something that might impact your decision as to whether or not you want to go through with the purchase. So keep that in mind when you're out shopping for those spooky looking houses. Now, you may have seen in the, not necessarily in the news, but certainly in the entertainment digest, if you will, there's a new show called The Watcher. And what I thought it was about someone who was, new homeowners were getting these threatening notes from some unknown person who was like, hey, I'm watching you, and I'm when will the blood of the young become mine, or something. Totally misquoting because I have not watched it, but I'm just saying it's in the news. It's almost Halloween, seemed like a good time to bring it up, but it turns out that that is actually based on a true story. It is a fictionalized version of a true story, as was the Amityville Horror. Now, depending on how old you are, you may or may not remember that movie, but the original movie, or the one that I remember, was one of the most scary movies, which is why I said if the house was haunted, no, thank you. Larice is going to buy another house. So anyway, if you haven't checked out those titles, and if you do like horror movies, do check them out. Now, that said, as a real estate broker, I don't want to discourage you from buying a house. I just wanted to share a few topical news items about houses, because 'tis the season. It's almost Halloween, trick or treat. And so additionally, what I wanted to tell you, first of all, is just remember, well, okay, lots of things, right? Is when you're looking at a listing or a description of a house, right, you have to decipher the real estate code, if you will. Say, for example, I think most of us know that if it says cozy, probably a little bit petite, right? Or if it says maybe charming, this one I only read today, it probably means eccentric. And so eccentric could mean weird. It just might mean that it just doesn't necessarily appeal to everyone, or something that's decorated in a non-traditional format. And we also have a house that has character, and that chances are the house is old. It's not a modern tract home, if you will. And tract housing has its advocates and naysayers, but a house with character is probably considerably, could be, there we go, an older home. These are not bad things. Just know what you're looking at when you're reading the description. And then, of course, a house that has potential, according to the particular article that I saw, that means run. And that, really, beauty, like real estate, is in the eye of the beholder, right? So some people like this and some people don't like that. And so the point that I wanted to make is that real estate is not a one size fits all. Of course, we're having trouble with the interest rates. That is not attractive. But again, if you look at history, it is really not that outrageous. We do have a history of higher interest rates. We just had a strange carve out during the pandemic because they were trying to stimulate the economy. The rates that we had between, let's go with 2020 to 2022, maybe probably the latter part of 2019, those were not normal rates, if you will. They were just trying to boost the economy, and now they overboosted, and now they're overcorrecting. But again, don't look at the headlines per se, because real estate, the markets vary by location. It is truly location, 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 but it also varies based on type. You have your commercial property, that's your office, your retail, that warehousing. You have multifamily. Even within multifamily, there's class A, class B, class C. And then, of course, you have single family, and then single family, that's also, there are differences based definitely on the location, right? San Francisco Bay Area, boo his boo, versus the Central Valley. So don't get caught up in the headlines. And, the buyer's needs vary. I mean, whether you're an investor or someone who's looking for a home of their own. So there are so many things to consider when buying a real estate. That is why we suggest working with a professional. And I really want to get across to you that you have options. That could be haunted or not haunted, right? But on the other hand, the loans the loan choices can help you get into a home. So don't throw in the towel just yet. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And that will conclude this week's episode of Did You Know? Talk to you next time. Ciao.